Well, hello humans and non-humans, as always, welcome to Auto Addicts. So I know you've all got a burning question: should you buy a Range Rover Sport? Auto Addicts. Well, obviously not. That'd be fucking ridiculous. But what about if some idiot has already spent a lot of money sorting all the problems out? What about then? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. So, what can I tell you about it? Well, I have a bit of paper. This is a 2010 Range Rover Sport 3 litre TDV6 24 valve, which replaced the pre-facelift 2.7. For the facelift one, you've got LCD lights, the Land Rover all-terrain response system, air suspension, low range transfer box, and an alarm going off in the background. And 50% fewer buttons on the interior. 50% fewer! You also got an extra 54 brake horsepower and 118 foot-pounds of torque, which brought you up to 242 brake horsepower, a train going past, picked a lovely quiet spot, and 443 foot-pounds of torque, which is quite useful. This should, laughably, give you 30.7 mpg and a much smoother engine. Coupled to a 6-speed ZF gearbox, this 2.5 ton black Range Rover should do 0 to 60 in 8.8 seconds, which is up from the, or down I should say, from the 11.9 of the 2.7. Give you a top speed of 120 miles an hour, should you be brave enough. 243 grams per kilometre of nastiness out of the exhaust, gives you an EU 5 rating. And this, without options, would have cost you in 2010 52,390 of your finest British pounds. I think they're rather a lot more than that nowadays. So, to save all that money, should you buy a second-hand one that somebody else has spent a lot of money on? So, let's look round it. You get LCD lights, 20-inch wheels, 20. Quite low-profile tyres though. You get a grille in the side that has actually got holes in it. It is a functional grille. It's unusual. And you get all this loveliness on an off-roader that will never go off-road. The Range Rover Sports must be the least off-roaded off-roader ever made, with the possible exception of the BMW X5 and the Volvo XC90 and the Porsche Cayenne. And it's one of the least off-roaded off-roaders ever. So, let's look round inside, shall we? Because let's face it, that's the best bit of it. So, inside, in this leather-lined cocoon of loveliness, we have LCD display in there with proper dials, which is nice. We get this sort of wood effect. Not sure if it's actual dead tree or not, but probably not. Obviously we get the infotainment system in the middle, which I think is much the same as you'd get in a Jaguar of that period, sort of XF type thing. Proper clock with hands, which is rather nice. CD player, climate control, some nicely sized cup holders. In this you still get a proper gear stick, unlike the Jaguar offerings that have the weird thing that pops out. Electronic parking, there's your all-terrain response system where you can pick different terrains, so your mud, snow, what we got there, cactus, I think that's running over a rock, scraping a Christmas tree, explosions, flat tyres. Oh, that must be going up and down suspension, and that is motorways, and don't know what that is. Is that your cruise control? Anyway, there's stuff there. Ashtray, cigarette lighter, well, not a cigarette lighter, USB sticks things. Very nice perforated leather. I'm guessing it's probably heated. Yes, there you are, there's the heated bits. So yeah, all very, very nice. Little accoutrement tray up there, and your glove box with an Evanescence CD in. That was a damn good album, that was. Pity the second one wasn't so good. Leather on top of the dash, nicely padded. All very nice. We have Harman Kardon audio, which will be nice and loud. Yeah, all very pleasant. So what's it like in the back? So in the back, got a bit of the pillar here impedes your view a little bit, but there is an airbag right there to knock you out. That's not actually as nice in the back as you might expect. There's a reasonable amount of leg room and enough space under the seat for your feet. Headroom's actually quite limited, but this rear seat doesn't go up that high, so actually the headrest is right in me back. I know you can lift it up, but then you impede the view. But seats are a little bit hard, but that's probably no one's ever really sat in here. But that'd be alright for most adults. I don't think you'd want, while it is a 5-seater, I don't think you'd want 5 people in, or 3 people in the back. You definitely wouldn't want 5 people in the back. But in the middle, you have got a nice flat transmission tunnel there, so you don't need to sit akimbo. Yeah, but it would be a bit cramped with 5 of you in here. You do have air vents there. Another accoutrement tray there. Yeah, it's sufficient. I get out. Not get out of the back of any car. It's not designed for fat people. So the boot. You have to open it yourself. Oh, can't believe you have to open it yourself. We have another train coming, a rubber mat, space underneath for jacks and wheel things, and spare bits of polystyrene. But your Labradors will be very comfortable in the back here, or your children if you don't like them. But 12-volt socket. A hole for something. Don't know what that hole's for, but I'm sure it's for something. To get the seats down, the little things there. Oh look, they're attached to that. No, stop doing that. And yeah, there's no button. I've got soft close though. Did you hear that? Soft close. So yeah, little spoiler, third brake light.
No. Under there's a button, you just lift the glass up.
Ah. And you can do that. I didn't know the sports could do that. I knew the proper Range Rovers could, but I didn't know the sports could. So that you can chuck, I don't know, your Shih Tzu or your Cockapoo or something in there if you don't need to open it for a full Labrador. It's also handy to clean your lights. That hasn't got soft close. Right. Now I know what you want to see. I know you want to see it. You do. You want to see it. Go on then. Well, there you go. There it is. There is a 3 litre diesel engine underneath that bit of plastic. Happy now? Good. So, as I lean across it like some sort of model, not really like a model. Anyway, let's see what it's like on the road, shall we? Might as well. Right, so now I think I've got some cameras set up that might actually point somewhere I want them, because I really need to get some more mounts. Let's go. So start it like most modern cars. Foot on the brake, press and hold the start stop button, and the 3 litre TDV6 bursts into life. 24 valves. So we have some music. We have 1/4 of a tank of diesel, and we're in drive. Let's go! So, if the camera in the back remains upright, it will be a miracle, but we'll give it a go. So, unlike most 4x4 tests, as I said, I'm not going off-road because these never go off-road. With the 20-inch wheels and the low-profile tyres, if we're honest, it would be quite frankly useless off-road. But with the fancy all-terrain system and decent tyres, it'd probably do a reasonable job. But let's be honest, that's not what these were ever sold for. So anyway, along this little back road, it's a very rough road, and I don't know how it comes across on camera, but actually it's not too bad considering the size of wheel and the low profile tyres. It's not too bad. I was expecting it to be jigglier. Is that a word? It is now. Jigglier than this, but actually no, it's not too bad. Obviously I can't do any beanage while we're on this road, in case wildlife, venison or rabbit or something runs out in front of me, or a rep comes round the bend. But that's, I've got absolutely no idea where I am. It's a big tree. Quite a nice house actually. wasn't a rep, it was a van. But right now I can see, obviously you've just gone flying, and it pulls quite well. That 3.5 litre TDV, or 3 litre, sorry, TDV6 24 valve does pull quite nicely. There is a bit of knock from the suspension, I suppose, but no more than you'd really expect. What the armrests like. Actually, the armrests for a Range Rover are quite good. Normally the Range Rover armrest, you have a little twiddly wheel, which actually this has got, and you end up with the armrest sitting at a nasty angle when you're just resting your arm on the very end of it. This is actually nicely well positioned. Nicely well positioned? What wonderful grammar. Who the hell am I? Yeah, that's pretty good. We've got the Ford type heated windscreen, which is one of those things, I've said it on previous Ford videos, I don't like when I first get in a car, but after a while you stop noticing it's even there. And in the winter, oh my god, it's a godsend. I do miss having a heated windscreen in the winter. But sitting here at the legal limit, it's relatively quiet, tiny little bit of wind noise, not bad. Most of what I can hear is the lens cap of my camera rattling in the back. Can't really blame Range Rover for that. Nikon, you can blame Nikon, but not Range Rover. Nice size wing mirrors. I have been informed, not reformed, but informed, that on top of the little accoutrements tray down there and glove box, there is a secondary glove box underneath. And in the back there, that little flap that I couldn't figure out, if that actually opens. Who would have thought? And in there is all your auxiliary ports and stuff. Yep, so some bumps there. We're poorly filled in potholes, which is part of the course around here. Very nice. Again, it's a vehicle. This is nicely positioned for just for your arm to go. It's a vehicle you could happily travel some distance in. You obviously have all your, as you'd expect in a modern vehicle, all your phone controls and stuff on the steering, cruise control, speed limiter, etc, etc. The window switches, which if you follow my Renault videos will know are a big bugbear of mine. They fall perfectly to hand. They adjust where you would reach down and put your hand. They're just there. They're just there. So for all Range Rover Land Rover's faults, a lot of this they've done right. If they'd just built them properly, these would have been phenomenal cars. But, as I said, if you can find one where somebody else has spent all the money sorting out all the things that Land Rover couldn't be bothered, you'll end up with a nice vehicle. Brakes haven't got a massive amount of feel to them, but then that's something you find a lot in 4x4s. Not keen on the steering, but that could be something to do with the tyres, or it could just be a Land Rover thing. But no, on the whole, it is a vehicle you could happily travel hundreds of miles in and get out the other end perfectly fine. Like a lot of 4x4s, one of the big benefits of these sort of things, you can see the bonnet, so you can see all the corners, see the back in the mirrors, so it makes it very easy to place, which is not only useful off-road, it's useful in car parks and things as well. Modern cars, too much you can't see the extremities without all the fancy 360-degree cameras, which most of us mere mortals don't have. Oh, a couple of little dogs See, with those little dogs, you could just chuck in the little opening. You wouldn't have to open the full boot. So, national speed limit. We're doing 40, which was the speed limit. Floor it. Kicks down. Tiny bit of lag. And you're very quickly up to the speed limit-ish. Yeah. For a 2.5 ton brick, basically, you know, we have got the aerodynamics of a block of flats. It pulls nicely, but then over 400 foot-pound of torque, you'd sort of expect that. But basically, would I recommend it? Would I recommend you go and buy a Range Rover Sport? If you watch people like Hoovy and some of the other YouTubers, they will emphatically say, no, don't be bloody ridiculous. And on the whole, I'd agree with them. But, and it is a big but, if you can find one like this, that's had the money spent on it, and has been looked after, been serviced well, had some of the main design faults rectified, which they can be rectified. Just look at the disintegrating wiring harnesses on TD5s. You can rectify the Land Rover problems. It's just a shame Land Rover doesn't do it themselves. I think this honestly would be a good buy. I was sceptical when I got in it. I will admit this. I love Land Rovers and Range Rovers. I don't love modern ones. Anything past 2000 I generally am not interested in. And I expected to hate this. Genuinely, I expected to hate it. But I don't. It drives nicely. Like all 4x4s, you have that commanding road presence where you can look down on the peasants as you waft past. That ability or knowledge that should you being chased by a Russian mafia drug dealer or something, you could potentially, if you stopped and changed the tyres, leave them across road or across country even. You don't need to change the tyres for a road. No, I'm impressed. So it just leaves me to say, really, we'll do a few drivey bits. You can see it going past and see what you will look like when you're driving your Range Rover Sport, or at least what I'll look like when I'm driving it. Superimpose yourself where I am, and then I will just leave you to hop on in eBay, hop on Facebook, Gumtree, Pre-Loved, the local rag, the post office, wherever you look for your vehicles, and go and find one. By the time you read this, what am I saying? By the time you read this, well, I suppose if you're deaf and got subtitles, you might read it, but for the rest of you, by the time you watch and listen to this vehicle will probably be up for sale. And I'll leave a link for it, or I'll add a link for it, I should say, in the description below when it is. And yeah, some idiot, the bloke sat next to me, has spent a lot of money sorting this out. So this one would be a good buy. If you're not buying this one, I would advise you to check it out thoroughly. Look for full service history, look to see it's been well maintained. Educate yourself of all the main issues these have. And look to see they've been rectified. And if you get a good one, like this one, I think you'll be alright. So with that, I'll just leave you to go and have a look. So, it's ta-ra from me, it's ta-ra from him. Like, comment and subscribe and all that usual stuff. Keep looking at the descriptions below and you'll find when this one goes up for sale. And I'll see you in a future video. Au revoir.